Got old uniforms? Wreaths by Nicole P. has the solution. Nicole, a veteran, handcrafts unique wreaths from military uniforms, a perfect tribute for your loved one's service. Commemorate special moments with personalized wreaths crafted by Nicole. No uniform, no problem. Wreaths by Nicole P. has every fatigue print ready for your custom creation. Explore wreath options at www.wreathsbynicoleP.com or message Nicole directly on Facebook. Wreaths by Nicole P. Preserving memories one wreath at a time. Honor the past, celebrate the present. I want you to know that I see you, I hear you, and I might not understand exactly what you are going through because I have not lived your life. But what I can tell you is that your life is beautiful. And even though it might seem really, really hard right now, it does get better. As cliche as it sounds, it does get better. And you can get through this.
Welcome to Your Story Doesn't End Here, the mental health podcast of military and veterans who refuse to be silenced. I'm your host, Rachel, and my mission with this podcast is to be a voice for those who don't have a voice, bring awareness to mental health issues, provide value and solutions, and to change the culture when it comes to mental health within the DoD organizations.
So I don't know what it is about the month of January. I don't know if it's because we're just coming off the holiday season or that it's the doomy and the gloomy time of year, mainly in the state that I'm in the state of Washington, or if it's just, I don't know, the pressure of resolutions and feeling like life has to be something profoundly different. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, January has started to create a pattern, and it's probably only a pattern because I'm starting to recognize it. But last year in January is when I lost one of my coworkers to suicide that I served with in the Navy. And for some reason, the other day when I logged on to social media, one of the first things that I saw is that someone in the community had passed away, and I figured out very shortly after the means of how that person had passed away, and it was through suicide. And it was not but probably half a day later that I found out that someone else in the community had passed. And I don't know for sure that it was from suicide, but nonetheless, member of the community had passed in the Navy. And then I kid you not, a few hours after that, I log on to Instagram and I find out on the Curves and Combat Boots page on Instagram that I really don't ever see much, that another veteran, I think she was a veteran, had passed from suicide. And it weighed so incredibly heavy on my heart because it does not matter that I did not know any of those people personally that passed away from suicide. I've never met any of them a day in my life, but the work that I do in the realm of military mental health in general, it is to save lives ultimately, because people need a platform to be able to be heard, to share their stories so that people know that there's no reason that mental health should be stigmatized, because we all deal with our shit, whether it is challenges, if it's ups, if it's downs, if it's a rough period in life, if it's just that it's January and it's gloomy outside and life just sucks. And I don't know why life sucks, but it just does right now. And I can't quite explain it to you, but I know that I'm just not feeling right now. That's okay. And I don't know. I think sometimes I feel hopeless in these situations because I want so badly to be able to save everyone. And I'm a huge empath in that regard. And so stuff like that, when I hear another person passed away at their own hand, it really breaks my heart. And I'm like, man, like, what else can we do? I say all the time, reach out to each other, talk to each other, connect. And I get it. Sometimes that is a little bit easier said than done, because if you're going through your own season of life, that's hard. And this is very much where I can relate to myself right now, right? Going through a season that's hard And the last thing I want to do is reach out to someone else and hear about their life problems, because I'm dealing with my own life problems. And then I feel like this bad person because now I'm not practicing what I preach of reaching out to people when they might need it the most. And it's kind of this like endless loop in my head, right? And then when another person passes from suicide, a lot of times I take that, I take it personally, and not because I feel like it's my fault that they passed away from suicide, but because that the weight of it all just, it hurts my heart, because it's like, when will this stop? And maybe the answer isn't that we'll ever 100% eliminate suicide, because we, at the end of the day, I can't save everyone, and we can't save everyone, but what can we do to make sure that there's not a pattern repeated every single January where someone out there feels like their life is no longer worth living? What can we do? And so, um, for me, when I come across these things, I have to like take a step back and take a break from social media, because it literally, like, I don't want to say it ruined my day, but I was very like drained the rest of the day, because I was like, man, like, it's just rough to know that these things are continually happening in the military and veteran community, but also outside of the military and veteran community. It's just really hard. And so I wanted to just dedicate an episode to you guys, to the listeners who might be feeling like it's January, or it's a Monday, or it's a Tuesday, or whenever you're listening to this and you're feeling like life might not be worth living anymore. So if you are someone who is out there and you're struggling right now, I want you to know that you matter. Your story matters, your life matters, and it might not feel like it in this moment. You might feel insignificant, or feel like you're lonely, or the world is just closing in on you, or it's not worth it anymore, or maybe it's just too heavy. But I want to speak directly to you and tell you that you are worth so much more than that. And sometimes it is heavy, and that's okay. That's what the beauty of us being human is, that we get the privilege of experiencing these incredible, intense emotions. And those emotions we aren't all equipped to deal with when we're born onto this planet. No one is giving us a manual that says, hey, Rachel, here's how to be a human being, and here's how to flawlessly be a human being. We're just thrown into the world. Our parents are doing the best they can with the information they have. We take this information and we do the best we can with the information that we have. And we take that and we run with it and we mold it into whatever it is that we want our life to be. And unfortunately, some of us don't ever get the opportunity to even mold ourselves into the person that we want to be, because life becomes so incredibly heavy that it weighs us down for the rest of our lives. And that thought alone can be heavy to deal with. And so we take all these compounding things, the overwhelm of work, the overwhelm of family, the stress of just being alive sometimes. And it's hard. It's so hard. But how do you go to someone and say, listen, I'm depressed because life just feels hard right now? Or I'm depressed because I don't know. I really don't know why I'm depressed. I don't know why I can't get out of bed in the morning. I don't know why I can't brush my teeth. I don't know why I can't shower consistently. I don't know why I don't care about my looks anymore, or why I'm letting myself go. And I don't know why I isolate. How do you explain that to someone? And sometimes it's easy. Sometimes we find that person that we just click with, and it's just like that. We can tell them our feelings or not tell them our feelings. And sometimes those people, we can just sit in silence and everything's okay, because there's no awkwardness that's there. They just understand us and our feelings and our moods and our thoughts and our emotions. And they don't need that validation of us explaining what is wrong, but they are there for us in that moment. But those people are rare to find these days. But I want you to know that I see you, I hear you, and I might not understand exactly what you are going through because I have not lived your life. But what I can tell you is that your life is beautiful. And even though it might seem really, really hard right now, it does get better. As cliche as it sounds, it does get better. And you can get through this. But if you need help, please know that it is okay. If you need medication, it is okay. If you need to just take a break, whether that be going to the psych hospital or going to a therapist, hiring a coach, finding a trusted friend, there is absolutely no shame in that, because I would rather sit up all night long and talk to you on the phone than hear about your funeral the next day. So for me, this is important. I know this isn't the standard episode, and I know I normally don't come on here and talk directly to my listeners like this, but I think it's necessary. And what I just said was completely from my heart. And if you know someone that's struggling and they need to hear the message and the words that I just said, please feel free to share this episode with them. Please do, because it might just save someone's life. Save 988 in your phone, please. It's so simple. They've shortened it, and it can be texted, it can be called. And if someone is in crisis, even if someone is not in, I think when we think of crisis, a lot of times I was, in my mind, I was like, crisis means that like I am 5 seconds away from taking my own life, but crisis could just be like stressed out and overwhelmed because I don't know what resources to find. That is also okay. Please use your resources. Please don't let yourself get to the point of overwhelm. But if you're already there, use the resources that are provided, and please, please stay, because you matter. And there are so many people, myself included, on this planet who care so much about you. And the world would be so much of a dimmer place without you here. Your story matters. So thank you for taking the time to listen to this, because I know it's not easy. And sometimes we don't want to hear these things. Sometimes wallowing in our pain and misery is what we want to feel, because sometimes it's just, I don't know. Sometimes feeling the painful things we don't want to feel feels better, as crazy as it sounds, than feeling the joyful things by fixing the pain. And that's, I think, why so many of us humans stay in these painful situations, because it's easier sometimes. But reach out if you need it. And your story doesn't end here.
Thank you for taking the time to listen in today. With your support, we are able to increase awareness of the mental health issues affecting service members and veterans today, with the goal of creating positive change. If you got value from this episode, please take 30 seconds to subscribe and share this episode within your own network. Until next time, remember, your story matters, your mental health matters, and your story doesn't end here.